So far, we've covered two foundations: what the Rig Veda is and why it was first heard before it was ever written. Today we begin Season 1, Mandala 1, and we start with Agni. A mandala is simply a major section of the Rig Veda, a collection of hymns grouped together. And Mandala 1 is like an entry hall, broad, welcoming, with many doorways. Across the season, we'll meet Agni, Indra, Ushas, Varuna, and Rita. We'll explore the idea of many names pointing to one truth. And we'll end with a simple home practice for reading a hymn devotionally. But first, Agni. Because the Rig Veda begins by calling the name of fire. Not fire as destruction, but fire as a bridge. Agni simply means fire. But in the Rig Veda, Agni is more than a flame. Agni is described as a presence you can invite in. A force that makes the space feel awake. A quiet power that turns an ordinary moment into something sacred. And most importantly, Agni is a carrier, a messenger between worlds, the one who takes what is offered and lifts it upward. This is why Agni is addressed first. Because before the Rig Veda speaks about strength, dawn, cosmic order, or the many faces of the divine, it begins with a simple truth. If you want to reach the unseen, start with the flame. Let's look at what fire does in everyday life. You place something into fire, and it changes form. It becomes lighter, it becomes smoke, it rises. Fire turns the solid into the subtle. And the Rig Veda uses that as a spiritual language. Because prayer is also a transformation. Prayer often begins heavy, full of thoughts, full of fear, full of questions you can't answer. But when prayer is real, something shifts. It becomes simpler. It becomes quieter. It becomes an offering. Agni is that moment of change, the bridge between what you carry inside and what you place in the hands of the divine. Now, Agni is not only a ritual, it's a principle. It's easy to think Agni is just about rituals and offerings. But the deeper idea is this. Agni represents the part of life that connects. Agni connects effort to result. Agni connects intention to action. Agni connects the human heart to a larger order. That's why fire appears everywhere in Hindu life. In temples, in homes, in ceremonies, in lamps, in offerings. Not because the flame is magical on its own, but because the flame trains the mind. It gives the mind one clear point, one steady center. Why a small flame can steady the mind? Think of a diya in a quiet room. You don't need to force yourself to concentrate. The flame naturally gathers your attention. It's small, but it's alive. It moves, but it stays. And slowly, just by watching it, your breathing becomes calmer, your thoughts become less loud, and your inner space becomes more still. So when people light a lamp before prayer, it isn't only tradition. It's also psychology. It's also discipline. It's also a gentle tool for the mind. Agni teaches, if you want the prayer to rise, first let the mind become steady. Agni as a witness. In many hymns, Agni feels almost like a witness, not a harsh judge, not a punisher. A witness in the way a flame is a witness. Quiet, steady, honest. Because fire doesn't pretend. If something is real, it burns. If something is damp, it struggles. If something is false, it shows. Agni invites sincerity. Not perfect words, not impressive chanting, not spiritual performance, just truth. And that can be comforting for a beginner, because it means you don't need to know everything to begin. You only need to bring what is real. The first doorway of Mandala 1. Mandala 1 is broad. It welcomes many deities, many themes, many doorways. But Agni is often the first doorway because Agni is the act of offering itself. Before big ideas, before complicated meanings, before anything else, the Veda begins with light the flame. And in that small act, a huge lesson is hidden. The spiritual life doesn't begin when you understand everything. It begins when you offer something. A little attention, a little gratitude, a little honesty, a little courage. Even if your prayer is only one sentence, even if your mind is shaking, Agni says, start. A simple home takeaway. So here is a simple practice you can try, even as a complete beginner. Light a small lamp or candle. Sit for 1 minute in silence. Watch the flame. Then speak one honest line. Not a long speech, just one line. Please give me clarity. Please give me strength. Please help me do the right thing. Please protect my family. Please calm my mind. That's it. In the language of the Rig Veda, that is already a kind of offering. And Agni is the carrier of that offering. Because Agni is the bridge. So when we say Agni is the fire that carries prayer, we mean something simple and deep. Fire turns the seen into the unseen. And prayer does the same. Agni teaches that devotion doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with offering. Not a performance, not a display, an offering. And that's why Mandala 1 begins here, with Agni. In the next episode, Season 1, Episode 1.2, we meet Indra, strength, courage, and the inner thunder, and what it means to stand up again when life hits hard.